Gentlemen, in this video I'll be talking about my experience with Doom the Dark Ages after beating it on Ultra Nightmare. I'll cover my points of contention with the game, weapon use cases and techniques, general gameplay procedures, and wrap this up with points of excellence the game executes on. Getting the bad out of the way up front, let's start with my points of contention. Optimization. I don't see the value in this game being so demanding on hardware when it does not look significantly better than Doom Eternal. I had to rely on FrameGen to achieve a playable perceived frame rate, which creates input latency and makes the game feel inconsistent. Speaking of inconsistencies, I had issues using the double tap feature for switching between variants within a weapon class. To demonstrate, in this clip I wanted to use my combat shotgun, but the game pulled out my super shotgun instead, causing me to take damage. Upon testing, I found that triple tapping the key selects the initially equipped variant, though this behavior was not consistent across every mission. I also did not enjoy how projectiles fired from my weapons would abruptly disappear. I understand the game is trying to force players into close combat with demons, but I believe this should have been achieved through level design, demon aggression, defensive measures, or damage falloff. Even then, I think that the core mechanics already encourage closing the distance, making this an unneeded solution to a problem that did not exist. If the game simply allowed projectiles like the Impaler Spike to land when properly lined up, it would enable satisfying skill shots at range. Instead, the restrictive effective range removes the possibility of challenging distant targets. During the boss fight against Azrak in Final Battle, I experienced several glitches. My shield phased through his red summons when it should have hit and destroyed them. There was a moment where I could not lower my shield. I could still parry, but I could not put it down to damage him with my weapons. I had to let him break my guard and survive. The game also failed to save my weapon states between cutscenes, causing me to fumble through variants to select the right one for each phase of the fight. To be entirely honest, defeating Azrak after experiencing these glitches was exhilarating in a way it would not have been otherwise. On the flip side, if I had failed my Ultra Nightmare run because of them, I would have felt cheated. The Night Sentinels are not presented well during gameplay. They never actually fight alongside you, which is a huge missed opportunity. The way they are staged in the levels is static and lacks the uniformity expected from a professional fighting force. They look thoughtless and incompetent. Without spoilers, I disliked the story. The tropes were cheap, I hated seeing demons politicking, and the Night Sentinels were boring. The only times the cutscenes were entertaining were the hype moments surrounding the Slayer. Time to dig into weapon use. The super shotgun was my main weapon. It was perfect for my favorite technique of shield charging into a demon, shooting them, and engaging in melee. This created huge bursts of damage and enhanced my mobility. The weapon is also ideal for dueling tougher demons such as the Battle Knights, Agadon Hunters, and Cyber Demons. I used the combat shotgun primarily to farm armor, though it is also a good counter to Lost Souls. The rocket launcher, which I call the cannon, is an outstanding weapon. After parrying an attack, I could heal with my own splash damage, so I developed a habit of blocking immediately after shooting. This negated self-damage, and if the heal window was active, I would still heal. This allowed me to fire it aggressively at any range. The grenade launcher has too many trade-offs compared to its counterpart. The arc of the grenades is too steep, and the upgrade tree focuses on direct hits, meaning I had to put myself at great risk of self-damage or sacrifice the satisfaction of seeing demons blow up. The pulverizer has great use cases, particularly as a vagary counter. Those demons are so large that every bit of skull shot hits them from a safe distance, resulting in massive damage output. It is also effective for clearing dense fodder formations, and the speed boost helps minimize travel time between engagements. I found it to be the best weapon to pair with the Berserk power-up. The Ravager is the opposite. It is held back by the movement speed debuff and the wind-up time required to reach maximum fire rate. The rocket launcher is better for self-healing, and the accelerator is better at sustained damage. The accelerator, especially with the heat blast upgrade, makes quick work of demons with a fast rate of fire and large burst damage. It is most effective against Komodos because of their large health pool and mobility. It was also strong against bosses because their large health pool makes sustained DPS a compelling option. The Cycler was good for proccing Chain Lightning, but the damage output is ineffective. Once Chain Lightning is active, it is advised to switch to a more effective weapon. The Chain Lightning itself is unreliable and it does not consistently travel between demons, which is why it was one of the last weapons I had upgraded. In hindsight, I wish I had upgraded it before the Impaler and Chain Shot. The Impaler is a very strong burst damage weapon, but it is made redundant by the Super Shotgun. I didn't find the upgrade sufficient to overcome its poor ammo economy in the early game. The Shredder is also redundant. The Plasma Guns and Skull Crushers are better options for any engagement. The Chain Shot is a good counter to armored demons, but has a fatal flaw. It completely throws off shield timing and creates risk of taking damage from attacks otherwise easily blocked or parried. For melee weapons, the Flail was best for general combat because it farms armor. The Gauntlets were excellent against super heavy demons and allowed me to maximize damage output. The Dread Mace was effective in boss fights because it delivered large bursts of damage and allowed me to rotate out of the boss's space to avoid counterattacks. For shield runes, Heaven Splitter is the only standout. It enables aggression by shocking demons, causing them to take more damage and stunning them. Ground Fissure falters demons in front of me and farms armor, though it is unclear exactly how much armor it provides. The Auto Turret appears to have decent damage output and farms health, but I was unable to properly evaluate the amount of health gained. It is also limited by being single target while others have an area of effect, and it requires me to keep facing enemies for the full duration, which restricts my mobility given how sprint works in this game. Holy Swarm is redundant in that it only deals large bursts of damage, and weaponry fills that role more effectively without relying on a parry activation. Gameplay procedures and techniques. I targeted demons with two factors in mind: threat level and proximity. Proximity was usually the main consideration. The Acolyte, or Witch as I call them, was the only enemy I felt it necessary to prioritize over closer demon clusters. To a lesser extent, I would prioritize demons with defensive measures like the Revenant, Medusa, and Cosmic Caco Demon as to prevent them from prolonging fights, though I did not view them as especially dangerous. When evaluating individual demon formations, threat level carried more weight as it became more important to take out powerful demons. It is important to note that the sprint function only increases forward speed. Whenever I wanted to move faster in a particular direction, I made a point of turning to face that direction. This allowed me to be more evasive and recover more effectively from dangerous situations. Wrapping things up with points of excellence. Medieval sci-fi is a unique theme, and it gives the game what I believe is the best art style in the entire Doom series. Finishing Move did an excellent job with the soundtrack. It is an orchestral style of metal that fits the setting perfectly. Flying on the dragon and piloting the Atlan mech provided a much needed change of pace, along with spectacular visuals and awe-inspiring moments. The permadeath stakes of Ultranheimer continue to be a satisfying challenge that makes the game more intense than its competition. I have to praise id Software for delivering another mechanically dense and unique gameplay loop. The shield mechanics, parrying attacks, throwing the shield to stun lock enemies, and my personal favorite, shield charging into the demons, create an experience that can only be found in the Dark Ages. I love how heavy, mobile, and powerful they have made the Slayer here. The marketing for this game describes it as a stand-in fight experience, but I disagree. Holding ground is not the objective. The spirit of this game embraces a close and destroy philosophy, and I love it for that. That's all I have for you. If you haven't already, consider watching my Let's Play, and feel free to let me know what you think about any of this.